What is up, alienARMy? So today I'm just gonna do a little bit of a casual chit chat, which is why I have my jamming headphones on, because I like a lot of shit going on in the background when I'm doing something, and because this is gonna be like casual, I figured I'll leave them here. So either which way, we are going to proceed now with, let's say, my coming out party, so to speak. And it's not in the way that you think. This is just, it's me broadcasting what I'm in resonance with right now. And this is going to cover a lot of astrology. This is going to cover transits. This is going to cover like your personal placements, but the way that I'm going to broadcast this to you is to discuss aspects that I've noticed with myself and why I am coming out of the closet now, so to speak. And with this broadcast, even though I'm speaking about me because I know me and I know what exactly fucking happened in the stars, in the heavens that aligned, that allowed me to be at this very place now, this broadcast is going to trigger you into knowing greater things about yourself in the realm of astrology, and also about like the psychology of you, perhaps unlocking some things that you might not have known the answer to about yourself up until this point. So when I am saying that I am coming out, this is essentially for me. I'm going to name some things that are relevant for me. I'm going to recite some stuff that I channeled. I was just channeling Zaddy, Lord Uranus. I call him Uranus. If that's too much for you, then you don't need to be on this video. I will not call him Uranus or Uranus or however the fuck you say it. I say Uranus, but I call him Zaddy, so it doesn't really matter. And that's Zaddy with a Z and an I-E. And I will explain why. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff, but me explaining myself here is going to present to you how everything is connected and how you can see patterns and synchronicities and things like that within your own astrological chart, as well as in your day-to-day experiences, everything that perhaps led you up to this point. So the placements pertaining to me that are relevant here, which is why all this started, which actually it started back probably like late summer of 2020. I'm telling you, for me, 2020 personally, that was an amazing year. 2021, I mean, this shit is just getting better and better. That's for me. I'm speaking for myself. And I say this because a lot of individuals, 2020 has or will trigger them. And I'm talking about the events on Earth that went on at that time. So it's significant for a lot of individuals, not just me. It's just, I mean, me, I'm riding this fucking beautiful fucking pimptastic motherfucking wave right now. So basically my coming out started in, I want to say maybe like August, September, somewhere. I don't know, around there, okay? There was just a shift and it was noticeable and I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, well, what the fuck is going on? I know something aligned in the sky, but I don't know what the fuck it is, right? So I'm trying to figure it out. And the other week, I don't remember when it was, time doesn't exist, but it's fairly recent ago. And I saw that I was having this transit. And this is why I'm talking about paying attention to transits of the outer planets. And you might recognize things that are going on with you, okay? Even if you do a birth chart for an incident that perhaps happened 10 years ago, you're still gonna see significance. Because I just did this. I'm letting you know because I just fucking did this. So I'm like, okay. So I went into my astrology software and I was looking at my chart and I was like, what the fuck, like, you know, and I was wondering, I couldn't pinpoint it. I knew that it was going on, and then I saw I have right now Uranus, which is my dominant planet. So if a planet is dominant in your chart, you're going to feel their effects amplified more so than another planet or celestial body. FYI, okay, if you're conducting your own research about yourself, your dominant planet, I mean, my dominant planet, like he's dominant, and a lot of individuals, I told you, we're just going all over the place, so stay with me. I promise I'm getting there, but I'm just adding everything that might be applicable or relevant. So some people say that the dominant planet is the chart ruler, which would just be the planet that naturally governs the sign of the ascendant. Like, let's say you have Aries rising, Aries ascendant, then your chart ruler would be Mars. I've seen some folks that they're like, oh, well, that's the dominant planet. No. There are different ways that you can calculate your dominant planet. There's some astrology software there. I don't know if I would take all of that into consideration, but based upon my calculations for me personally, by aspect, and I mean major aspect, Uranus is my dominant planet. So basically what that means, if you want to go by aspect, is that Uranus is, he basically went in my, he makes me fucking giggle, like, because this is how he's like showing it to me. So he's like, like he went in my chart and he fucking just hit everything, okay? He hit this planet, he hit that planet, he hit this angle, he's here, he's there. Like he wanted to go in there and hit everything, okay? So aspects all around. So he forms major aspect with my big four, ascendant, midheaven, sun, moon. He also has other aspects of other planets as well, but because he's in major aspect with my big four and he has a lot of aspects to other planets, I feel him as my dominant planet. So however you want to calculate that, that's entirely up to you, but for me, that's just what it is, okay? So dominant planet, even if it is an outer planet, such as Uranus is an outer planet, a major aspect which is occurring right now, which is like some bomb ass motherfucking energy. Like I love it. I bask in it. It's so fucking amazing. So that, even if it is a outer planet, you might think, well, an outer planet transit, you know, that's taking a while, and you know, the outer planets move slow, and you know how long they're gonna be there. And no, we're gonna just put that to the side, and we're going to say, if it is your dominant planet, they are going to carry weight in your chart when there's a transit. So let's say a major aspect, like let's say conjunction, opposition, square, trine, especially those, an outer planet to any one of your planets, whether they are outer or inner. If they are a cardinal point as well, I would say take that into consideration. But basically, when that type of transit is occurring, you are going to feel it immensely. Now, Uranus being my dominant planet, I do want to give you a little background information on him. I have Uranus, which I have not really, I mean, I always kind of felt his presence, but he's also located in my 12th house. So I would say up until, like I said, probably like August, September 2020, I felt him, you know, and other people would recognize him in me. They were, you know, like I've gotten probably my whole earthly journey in this physical vessel, I've gotten, oh, you're different, or this is an unusual situation, or I've never heard of something like that, or well, you're the exception to every rule. Like just things that would imply that I'm not like the others. And I mean, I'm not, like, everyone is unique and different in their own way, but I would just always hear this, like, about everything, okay, from like everyone, people that knew me very well, people that didn't know me very well. It was just, you're really different, like hard to pinpoint to like a certain anything. Like it was just totally different. So that's how Uranus was displaying for me. Now, if you have your dominant planet, let's say your dominant planet is Mars, people might notice in you that you are more extroverted, courageous, confident, daredevil, brave, like the traits that are associated with Mars. So for me, for example, it was just traits of characteristics of Uranus, like different, whoa, like weird situation, what's going on, like that's really weird, like just oddities, okay? So because he sits in my 12th house and because he's dominant, this is why I'm saying that he's coming out of the closet. He's already out of the closet, because the current transit of Uranus right now is majorly aspecting my Jupiter. So with this energy, essentially, is that even if he's in the 12th house, and this can work for any transit, especially if you have placements in the 12th house, because they're always going to be there, like sort of hidden and subconscious, but you're gonna not really identify with them at a conscious level. Like subconsciously, they might be a source of insecurity. Like I can say earlier along in my journey when, you know, I was just called so different from everyone else. Like, let's say, I don't know, when you're like 10 years old, you're like, wait, I'm different. Like it can be an interesting type of feeling, like, well, I'm not like everyone else. And during those formative years of growth, it's like you're sort of trying to fit in with everyone else, and then when everyone just says you're different, it's kind of like, whoa, like it's sort of something that might cause embarrassment or just like a self-reflection, like, wait, am I really different? Like, why am I not like anyone else? And like, it didn't bother me necessarily, but I like carried with me, well, am I different? But I didn't see it because Uranus, even though he's dominant and he was asserting his dominance because he hit everything in my chart. Basically, he's like, I'm gonna hit that, I'm gonna hit that, I'm gonna hit that, right? Like he went in, okay? Jizzed all over the fucking place with his energy in my natal chart. That's what he done did, okay? So he was always there, but I didn't recognize him because he was in the 12th house. So any 12th house placement is gonna be sort of like subverted in a way, and the native of that 12th house placement might question, they might have doubt over that placement, they might have fear of that placement, they might have insecurity over that placement. It's just going to be an area where they're kind of like they're questioning it in some sort of way. So he remains hidden, Uranus, in my chart for quite some time, but you know, I would always get those things, those comments, whatever. So he remains hidden. Then comes, which 2020, clear vision 2020, right? You're seeing everything as it is. Just so happened that Uranus is, now he's hitting my natal Jupiter. He's hitting it. He's like, boom. Okay, so Uranus in my chart is conjunction my ascendant. He's conjuncting it from the 12th house, but there's some technical term, it eludes me at this moment, but he's basically, like, let's say my ascendant is XYZ degree, or your ascendant, whatever degree it is, it's the degree earlier. So let's say someone has their ascendant like 10 degrees, whatever, then they would have a planet from the 12th house coming up on it. So it's like riding up, it's like riding the ass of the ascendant, and it's coming from behind. So if your ascendant is 10 degrees, then you would, let's say if you have Mars, let's go with that, you have Mars in like 6 degrees. So Mars is approaching the ascendant. So he's giving a little extra push, okay? So that is going to carry more weight with the house that he's conjuncting from, because he's like pushing energy forward, but the ascendant is at its point and it's coming from the 12th house. It's not coming from the first house. So with my ascendant, for example, I have my ascendant this many degrees here. Uranus is conjuncting from the 12th house. He's coming up on the ascendant, like he's like kind of creeping up, right? So that's going to push the energy of the ascendant. It's going to push it. It's going to give it a push. Whereas let's say there was a planet in a degree that was after the ascendant, even though it's in the first house, now the ascendant is going to have more control pushing the energy of that planet, right? Because it's creeping up on it, okay? I don't know the fucking technical term. If you do, that's great. I don't really do technical things here. I have no earth signs, just FYI. But if you know, you know. So Uranus is already natally conjunction my ascendant. He's creeping up from the 12th house. So he's hidden, but he's still making an appearance because he's pushing the ascendant. He's like, hey, look at me, right? So planets in the 12th house, for anyone, you really have to look at if they are on your ascendant. I mean, on it, like right in the ass of the ascendant, okay? Like, hey, I'm coming through, right? Because they're gonna be differently activated than someone who their ascendant is over here and they have the planet in their 12th house and the 12th house is like over here, right? The same thing for the first house, okay? Anything that is conjunction a cardinal point, right, especially the ascendant and the midheaven, it's just going to express itself via the avenue of that cardinal point. And it's going to depend if the planet is approaching that cardinal point or if it's kind of running from that cardinal point, right? Another technical term word, which I don't know. But the planet is either creeping on up from behind or it's running away from. And then it's like the ascendant is now the one that's creeping on up, right? So for me, I had that aspect, and the transit that's occurring now, so I have my ascendant is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, my chart ruler, is Jupiter. Jupiter, by the way, was just always my favorite planet. Like always, like that's my boy, right? I mean, all the planets are my homeboys. Like I'm cool with all of them. Like there is no, even the malefic ones, especially the malefic ones. Hello, I see you. So my natal Uranus, here's some trippy shit. Okay, so my natal Uranus, right, is hitting my ascendant, which is Sagittarius. So now we want to take a look at Jupiter. Jupiter is the natural governor of the sign of Sagittarius. I have Jupiter in the 11th house. The 11th house is governed by Uranus. Hello, not in my chart, but natally, Uranus is lord of the 11th. So my Uranus and my Jupiter, we're always working in congruence, let's say, okay? So you want to take that into account when you're looking at your dominant planets as well. You want to see who they get along with, okay? Because Uranus and Jupiter, they are homies. Let me tell you, when they run amok, that shit gets exciting. So the transit that's occurring now, the major aspect betwixt my natal Jupiter and the Uranus transit. Now transiting Uranus, because he's already dominant, right? He's already getting along with my Jupiter because Jupiter, he's already hitting my ascendant. My ascendant is governed by Jupiter, so they're already acquainted, right? They're cool with each other. Like, oh, I know you. You've been butt fucking me for a while, right? Like you've been riding my ass for a little bit. I know you. Your energy is familiar. Oh, but wait, there's more. I, as the chart ruler who is cool with Uranus, I am posited in house number 11, which is governed by Uranus. So it's like, hey, what's up, homie? I'm here. You know, it's like they're comfortable in each other's abodes. That's the best way I can describe it. So they're comfortable. They're very, very comfortable with each other. Like in my chart, especially, they're comfortable. It might be, you know, it is going to be different for everyone, but for me, they're comfortable. So this transit is what the message I was relayed. That's why it activated this coming out party for Uranus, because Uranus and Jupiter, they're already cool with each other, right? Sagittarius energy, Aquarius energy, they're cool with each other too. I mean, if we want to go by strictly astrological standards, okay? So Uranus and Jupiter, they're going to get along. So basically, now with this activation, the transiting Uranus and my natal Jupiter, it's like my natal Jupiter is like here, he's chilling in my chart. Natal Uranus, he's like spinning around, you know, he's chilling out. He's like, oh shit, Jupiter, my homie, what's up? And then whoosh, he's hitting Jupiter, my natal Jupiter, because remember Jupiter, because he's natally in my chart where he is, he's not moving, he can't move. Transiting Uranus can move, right? So he's the unmovable object, right? And this could be for any planet, not just Jupiter, but he's an unmovable object in my natal chart. Uranus is transiting. He can move, right? He can move any which way he wants, right? Like he's moving backwards, forwards, like he got a whole chessboard at his fingertips, right? And Jupiter is just there because he's natally there, right? The stars aligned when I was born the way that they did at that moment in time, let's say. So whoosh, transiting Uranus is the one giving energy, whoosh, hitting Jupiter with its energy because it's transiting, it's moving, whereas the Jupiter is immobile. So Jupiter in essence in my chart is just like this, like he can't move from the energy of Uranus, right? So Uranus is activating Jupiter. And that goes for anyone, but it's just easy for me to explain it because I was just shown that about me because I was trying to figure out why the fuck am I feeling like woo, because that transit sends that some good shit. Now we want to take into consideration that Uranus and Jupiter are already in my chart. They get along in my chart, okay? So now we want to take into consideration the energies that are being activated. So Uranus coming out has to do with now Jupiter. We've come full circle, right? Uranus is hidden in my 12th house. That sounds really whatever, okay? It's okay to be immature sometimes, all right? Uranus is hidden in my 12th house. So he's there. He ain't out the closet yet because ain't nobody activate him. Like he was trying to be shown, like the 12th house, and I channeled this earlier, is like the child that has sort of been locked away and it's become petulant and it's like, let me out, I want to be out, like and it's like building up, it's like festering energy, right? Because it wants to be expressed, but the 12th house is hidden until the native is able to recognize it and set it free. So the 12th house in my chart was encapsulating the energy of Uranus, as for you as well if you have any planets in the 12th house. And because of this activation with Jupiter and the ascendant, and this is for me with the Sagittarius ascendant and Jupiter, because it's hitting Jupiter. Jupiter always wants to expand no matter where he is. Expand, 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 right? So Uranus hitting him is like, hello, expand. So then Jupiter gets sort of like this kickstart, this jump start, like, oh shit, let me expand. And because I have Jupiter, Sagittarius ascendant, governor, it's like, whoa, where do I expand? How do I expand? I'm going to go to where my governance is already established in the natal chart, which is on the ascendant. So for you, it might be 4th house. For you, it might be midheaven. For you, it might be 8th house. No matter what it is, the planet that is being hit by the transiting planet is going to want to express itself where the sign that that planet naturally governs is located in your chart. So with this being said, you can take that into consideration for any planet. It's just going to, the one thing you're going to keep in mind is that a transiting planet is hitting its energy on the stationary planet in the natal chart. It's hitting it. That planet can't move. So it has no choice but to just go with it. It has to go with it. It has to. There is no other way because it can't move. It's natal. It's already placed. It is written. So the transiting planet is buffeting. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Buffeting the natal planet. And the natal planet is going to look to where, let's say you have a sun that's getting hit by Pluto, let's just say, right? Pluto is transiting, hitting your sun, hitting your sun, hitting your sun. And so you want to look to, well, where is Leo in my chart? Because the sun, your natal planet, it might not be in Leo. It might not be in the house of Leo, but you want to look to where Leo energy is in your chart, what house, to see how that energy of the sun is going to be expressed. Because the sun needs to get expression, right? Needs to expel the energy that it's being hit with. And it's going to express that energy in the most familiar and comfortable way it can, which is through the sign that he naturally governs. So you're going to want to see the house of your natal planet that is being hit. Then you're going to see where the sign that is governed by that natal planet is located and see how it's going to get expressed. So for me, Jupiter I have in the 11th. Jupiter governs natally Sagittarius. I have Sagittarius ascendant. So how is that going to be expressed? Via avenue of first house ventures, expressing the will of Uranus, hitting it, also expanding and sharing with others because it's in the 11th. Remember, this is the house of like friends and acquaintances and hopes and dreams and wishes and all of that. So it's going to expand in that way, but it's going to be noticeable and it's going to resonate with me via the avenue of the ascendant and first house characteristics, how that's expressing. So with this transit in particular, I've just been feeling really good. And I'm like, how does this correlate to anything? Like, what exactly is going on here, right? So basically, that is what's going on. So if you're feeling just really fucking hyped out of nowhere for no reason, and it's like an ongoing thing, because remember, the moon, Mercury, those are, you know, sun even, okay, they can be transits, but they're not going to be very long-lasting transits. It's like the outer, especially if it's a dominant planet, especially if it's a cardinal point. And I can say that because it's what I'm fucking experiencing. So as far as 12th house, if you want to emancipate that planet, or let's say you have 12th house placements that you've already emancipated, I would check for like significant energetic shifts in the area which involves your 12th house. So again, I'm just gonna use my example. That's the easiest one that I can say. Uranus, 12th house. Guess what? Okay, 12th house, what is the sign of? You know, sort of like imprisonment of one's individuality, right? So it's going to express itself in that way. So let's say if you have Sun in the 12th house, if you want to emancipate that, you know, because it might happen, like, listen, I thought Uranus in my chart was out of the fucking closet, but apparently he wasn't, because this energy right here, and he confirmed it with me, like, yes, this is what it is. This is why you're feeling so good, because Uranus is blasting Jupiter. He's blasting Jupiter with that, whoo, and Jupiter is just, he's loving it, right? Because they're already well acquainted in my chart. So this is the expression of individuality of, like, let's say Sagittarius and Aquarius energy, right? Like philosophies that are different than the norm, or thought processes or dreams or desires that are different from the norm, unusual friendships, unusual ways of expressing philosophies, things like that. Okay, spirituality, highly spiritual shit going on, being expressed through my ascendant, which is already, Uranus is already, my natal Uranus is already on my ascendant, expressing it via that avenue of assertion of, this is who I am, this is me. Remember, first house traits, we're coming now with the ascendant, first house, boom, I am this. I am is the key word of the first house for everyone, for you, for me, for your grandma, for everyone. So I am unusual philosophies which I spread to my friends in different and unique ways, right? Because we're incorporating all the energy that's going on, right? We have a whole multitude of things, and then we're expressing it via the route of the ascendant first house. I am an alien, motherfucker. I am weird, okay? I have different philosophies than you. I don't give a fuck, boo. All of that type of shit. But it's in a way where this is who I am, right? Let's say if there was another transit going on and it was going to be involving the 4th house, there would be a difference, right? Because this is more like home and hearth, and you feel a certain way, right? It's gonna be more of an emotional revolution rather than like a resurrection of the self that was hidden in the 12th house that is going to be put on display for all. It's going to be a resurrection of the internal, maybe your home environment, your living situation, what makes you feel emotionally secure, things like that. It's going to be that type of revolution if, let's say, the 4th house is involved in that and not the 1st house. So when this is going on now, I have my coming out party for Uranus because he wanted me to do this. I don't know, he wanted me to do it. Okay, so that's essentially like, this is who I am. I don't give a fuck if my philosophies and thought processes are different from yours. I'll still be cool with you if you accept me for who I am, my weirdness and all, like, and I'm expressing it. This is it. This is the ascendant energy. So that's Uranus being emancipated from the darkness of the 12th house. Now it's like a motherfucker says, oh, you're so different. Yeah, I know. Now what? That's who I am. I'm different. That's me. That's my name. I'm different. So that's just something that I want to put out there. I want to have a little coming out party for Uranus and just talk a little bit about astrology and how you can notice different types of transits, and if it's, let's say, you know, even an outer planet or what have you, like, you need to take into consideration all the things that I mentioned in this video and see how your natal chart and transits are going for you. As I said, for some of you, this is a strong message I'm getting. You might want to look at like significant events in your own experience, in your physical vessel thus so far, and if you do the natal chart for that, I guarantee you will see some interesting stuff there. So that's what I got for you today. I am Oculus, the alien next door. We will chit chat again soon.